Thank you for joining us. My name is Sharon Kalimbula. This is Camnet News. The top stories on our desk: MISISI compound flood victims agreeable to sell their houses amidst perennial floods. Women in Southern Province vow to boycott voting if the two major political parties do not adopt women. The Green Party sees no wind of change as it endorses President LUNGU. In international news, Ethiopia's Orthodox Church Patriarch condemns TIGRAY genocide. And in sports news, Barcelona and ATLETICO in stalemate in key La Liga game. Join me shortly for the details.
The much awaited for Camnet conference is now scheduled for May 2021 with your hosts, Pastors Victoria and Moses Chiluba.
We have believed that every Zambian was born for greatness and that you and I can contribute to the development of this nation.
The big questions to ask are: can Zambia develop through agriculture? Can we produce indigenous Zambian millionaires? Plan not to miss this national conference on empowering Zambians through agriculture knowledge. Dates: 28th to 29th May 2021. Time: 07:30 hours to 16:30 hours. Venue: the Healing Word Ministries International in Ibex Hill. Charges: 950 kwacha, lunch inclusive for both days. Payments through via mobile money on 0962 965 883 or 0979 753 010, or you can pay via Stanbic Bank account number 913000 1825 325. Speakers will be Professor Reda.
We need Zambia to be one of the best nations in Africa.
Professor Munkumba.
If you just listen to a lecture, you may remember hardly anything. In 2 weeks' time, it's all gone. If you read, you may remember 10% of what you've read. If you participate in a discussion, 50% retention of the knowledge. So I always tell people, knowledge is the only thing that when you share it, you don't lose it.
Professor Msongole.
Agriculture can actually solve our unemployment for our youth. Through exports, agricultural exports, we can also stabilize our foreign exchange.
Honorable Bob Chinga.
When you do a budget, you plan it so that all the sectors, especially those that will give you low-lying fruits, in other words, you can achieve a lot with it, are the first things you do first.
And biologist Kamweneshe.
If we came together and put our hands together and concentrate on the soil. The people in Kenya, these Swahili people say, Dongo ni mali, means soil, that's money.
Register your participation through Camnet lines. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Once again, thank you for choosing us. The news in detail. Some farmers in Kafiwe district are calling on President LUNGU to provide appropriate intervention in a matter involving land number 599, which has been earmarked for development. The farmers have told Camnet TV News that they have been cultivating on the said land for more than 25 years, and when contacted for a comment, Kafiwe Town Council Secretary Jonathan Mwanza says the authority is investigating the matter due to irregularities discovered when the squatters were asked to submit names for beneficiaries. Prudence Chota filed this report.
This piece of land has for several years been used for agriculture purposes by some farmers in Kafiwe district. The land once belonged to a man known as Patrick Silungwe before it was repossessed by the local authority for failure by the owner to pay land rates. The land in question was since earmarked to be allocated plots for development. And the squatters of the land have told Camnet News that they had in 2019 applied to the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources that they be among the beneficiaries. And in response, Ministry of Lands advised the squatters to engage with Kafiwe Town Council. And subsequently, the council wrote to the Commissioner of Land providing the list of the concerned squatters who were to benefit from the land. Surprisingly, other persons not among the squatters have already become beneficiaries to the land, and now the affected farmers are scared they might end up with nothing and wants the head of state to come to their rescue.
you don't want to leave anybody behind. Muti pasa toza kusogoro. Muti pasa fertilize. Muti ifeti salama man. Wanji mabora kumanga pamele palife man. Ifeti choke pozi. Blood is zero. Uli is zero. Imwe prison
Having cultivated this land for over 25 years, these farmers do not know what their future holds. They have accused the local authority of lying to them while land is being taken as they watch.
Abantu balefuma kurusaka balesa nama papers tatwishiwo kubasitira ma interview takuri advertisement ama plots kula ku council takwaba tube mona balesa nkubika masira bubale pangaro mama interview ayo olendera mu council bakafola shisanga takuleba ma interviews ku council kulia balesa ndama papers secretly without ama interviews so indera mu council sharafu makuisesha kufolesha mawekazi
council kuja tinaenda na titaona na kazo chairman anatuuza kuti yayo zavutika Nisa 7 zerapo, muzapasiwa. Komanga karen manje kulibe prot. Ifeti kutia indika rungu mutionepo. Chifukwa ina nemurimi.
But when contacted for a comment, Kafiwe Town Council Secretary Jonathan Mwanza told this reporter that the squatters were not faithful when told to write the list of beneficiaries to the land, but says the matter is being looked at.
They did, yes, complain to us and they wrote to the ministry. And the issue is receiving attention. They're even aware, I think. But the land that they are talking about also belonged to another person who had it on title. So the process of re-entry had to be done, and then after reallocation to other people that were disabled. I think the problem is just within the squatters themselves. I think when the submission that they made initially to the Minister of Land is what did not constitute who were the actual squatters. So the committee that they used is what they had a problem. So the initial committee that made submission to Minister of Land on the list of the actual people that were cultivating there, I think they put other people instead of putting the actual. So that was only discovered later on when the other people that were allocated by the Minister of Land went to site. And so that's where now we received the complaint and then we forwarded to land and it's receiving attention. Yeah, and the committee is well aware about that.
Some citizens have ended up losing land they have occupied for years due to several reasons, among them the selfishness of those entrusted with power. It is hoped that this will not be another case of Zambian citizens having to lose their sources of income. Prudence Jota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
In other news, residents of MISISI compound have expressed willingness to sell their houses, which remain submerged in water following the 2020-2021 rain season. The landlords have been relocated to a makeshift camp in tents by the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit, say they would be happy if government gives them land to permanently settle within Lusaka. They are, however, worried that 3 months custody under the support of DMMU will be coming to an end, yet their houses remain submerged in water. Patrick Soko filed this report.
We are back in Lusaka's MISISI compound. This is one of the areas that was highly affected by floods. However, the situation remains the same. Some people have been forced to relocate to other areas. The MISISI flood situation has been a clear example of poor city planning on the part of the Lusaka City Council, as well as how effective are some government departments such as the Water Resources Management Authority, WAMA. This water body is called Ngwenya Dam, but what happens here seems to be none of their business. It is no wonder some people would end up building houses in the water recharge zones, thus being affected by the floods. Behind me are the houses for the flood victims. A few meters from here is a makeshift camp put up by the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit. They are expected to be at the camp for at least 3 months. 2 months has already elapsed. Let's see how they are coping with life.
Tinkala kuno kuma tent mungave mwaonela manzi yatingenela uku nse landlords wonso kona ti etia manzi yanatingenela Awe tinapokera tandizo kuli boma vatipasa na support. Manje onani ino ni challenge ni June, May. Ino ni May. Manzi yakaliko yambiri maningi che so stizi bayaro futi rain season yamba manje. Sinzi batandizo wanga tipaseko kapena kupompela manzi kukuchosa ko stizi. But tipempa che boma kutandizira. Avonse viriko manzi matiletela na vakudia matandiza so chabwino. Pamene maonera so chabe manzi kuja pepa kwa che government kutandiza vangatandizeko kuti vakupompoleko manzi kuja since bwino.
However, they seek to be given alternative land and they are willing to sell their houses.
But like manyumba ngachitambira chapa chikuliva ogulisa au tingambire mushi. Pantu mandi ni situation yeve government zizakwanisa kuti pali ponse manzi akazula chokani poni kanti mipereke inyuko. Chokani poni okay ni bambiri sinjisa teka. Ni bambiri bali affect like mwameni tupitira manzi. So wazakwanisa government pali ponse yabe kunwa manzi akazula chitieni manzi akazula tieni so government akaganiza kwati ya itigulise au ni chitayamikira che. Tima areas yakayenayo tingavomere ngati kungafupi keko. Like tinajaira mutawani mufupi. Maona wena ngotiribe mamyotoka bamdala watu wasebenza banda katupeleka kokutali yake distance at from kambe tabati kuchoka muno Lusaka kwenda ku 50 miles kuchani tuzakwanisa tibe moto kuti bilifonse so ngatuganiza kuti at least kufupi kona mtown at least like it ina bana maskolo wa grade 10 wa grade 9 tina baby banda katupeleka kutali tuzashita bwanzi enzo tupasa uka something tuza vochita maskolo bana tumaripirira manje like movi nachitikira hapa inavuta so like monga ise kwamba chabe kwatu tingapepeko chabe banonge wina amaya inonge wino ngachitandizeko chabe tandizo kuti abana banga baje bali paja ngapasa katika ikonse ka something out tingambirirepo kwamba waya kuti tutandizira abana ku school like mwandi ngomanga mandini yakosa it's very difficult mwandi yakosa.
Issues being advanced by the people at the camp are clear. One only hopes authorities will work on them. And what about a meal before we wind up duties? Patrick Soko, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Interesting news item there from Patrick Soko. In other news, the Monza District Women Association have vowed not to take part in this year's election if both the governing Patriotic Front and the opposition United Party for National Development do not adopt women in Southern Province. At the moment, women only make up 17% of the National Assembly, while men take up 83%. Association Chairperson Roger Bontele is concerned that women remain sidelined in politics, adding that if the narrative has to change, then they must give women more space. In another development, UPND members in Monza district embarked on a walk-in protest to demand change of representation and parliamentary level.
You know, our everybody normally compare no mubamba kwa mboto both my parties mubone ndamba both my parties yebo kubamba aba parties those who are not active but ndamba ba UPND ndamba ba PF aba UPND kuno musanza ngama parties ngotitse ababone masimbe kwamboti mwaindo wasangana abaromwe uno iba tubikire batuyitira adopt abakala sija kuyeya ja kwambana kuti batatu bikiri aba bantu bobiro mbeyamba gwamba mwaindo ali mwawamba muntu imulema ngo straight forward mavoti bararosa
Mwembu ankara maningi mdala wa about 20 years kulipe development ya metora pamoja semayusi so tupemba wa Jackie Mwimbu by this time batokepo basireko benangu bali na mind ilipo fresh alema Jackie Mwimbu for 20 years without anything so kufura hapa batuteteche mwana mkazi angere atikontorore akapata akatotera bagwino muno mumonze Mwimbu kulipe vewa chita bakara 20 years wao basi bateye kuyangara abantu babiri batatu.
Common Grounds Network Executive Director David Mvola has called on political parties to adopt a youthful candidature ahead of the 12th pause. In an interview with Camnet TV, Mr. Mvola explains that Zambia will only develop at an expected pace if young people, who are the majority, are given space to take part in the developmental aspirations of the country. He notes that so far the Patriotic Front have shown political will by adopting a few youths as parliamentary candidates in various constituencies. Mr. Mvola further says other political parties should emulate this route and give the young people a voice to speak out, influence policy direction, and subsequently achieve the desired change.
They should always consider young people, the disabled and women. For young people, they have always said that they want to participate in decision making. And this is the right time for political parties to show their commitments, which they have always, pronounced, that young people are future leaders. But the future is now, because the future is determined at this point in time. So I wish to call upon, political parties, the Patriotic Front, the UPND, FDD, and many other political parties to consider in the adoption, young people. And we are very impressed so far for the Patriotic Front that we have given an opportunity for a young woman called Iris Kayungu to stand as a member of parliament. And we want to ask more political parties, including the Patriotic Front, to do more to consider young people into the political space. Because leadership should start at a younger age for them to have a good, positive, life, a good, meaningful, position in society, and also to ensure that the policies which are going to be enacted, that the legislation which they are going to put in place should reflect the will of the young people. Because, today young people care so much about employment and how they can create jobs. It is at this point in time that young people who are elected go into that space to ensure that they bring the voices of other young people in the platforms where decisions are made.
On an interesting note, Green Party President Peter Sinkamba has endorsed the candidature of President Edgar Lungu ahead of the forthcoming August 12th general elections, as he claims there is no wind of change. He says his party has decided to support President Edgar Lungu because the PF is already implementing the party's agenda on the legalization of medicinal marijuana. Mr. Sinkamba has told a media briefing that the PF government will be able to revive the economy through the cultivation of marijuana. He says he could not work with opposition political parties because he knows they will not form the next government, further stating that they do not support his agenda of cannabis. Patrick Soko filed this report.
It is official, the Greens will not be part of the presidential race, as its party president Peter Sinkamba told a media briefing in Lusaka Saturday that he will be backing President Edgar Lungu in the forthcoming general elections. He cited the implementation of the program on marijuana cultivation as the major reason that has motivated him to support the PF.
I was supposed to have contested. It would be nice to have contested, and it's very nice indeed to be a presidential candidate. But when I weigh the national interest against my personal interest, I think that the national interest outweighs my personal interest. So I'd rather forgo my contesting for this coming election, so that we do not disturb the national interest. And I've also gotten a lot of counsel from our chiefs,
Mr. Sinkamba was also categorical in stating that there is no wind of change, claiming that the PF will remain in government. This journalist was compelled to ask him what are the determinants of the wind of change, and this was his response.
Key players like the unions, the student unions, the workers' unions, okay, those also give an indication which direction they are going. But when you look at what is happening now, there is nothing to show that the church is moving in the direction of change. There is nothing to show that the traditional authorities are moving in the direction of change. There is nothing to show that the workers' unions are moving in the direction of change, and there is nothing to show that the student movement is moving towards the direction of change. So those are key indicators. Okay, of course, on the street, also when you just interview people anyhow, they'll tell you that they do not think that there is going to be change. Of course, there is frustration. There's frustration on economic performance. There's frustration on a number of things. But the general view is that PF must continue.
The Green Party is among political parties that have been consistent on the ballot, but Mr. Sinkamba says he wants to focus on actualizing modalities on the marijuana concept from now up to August.
So between now and August, a lot must be done. A lot must be done. And someone must sacrifice to run with that. Someone must sacrifice the position of president to run with the initiating the program which is going to achieve the objectives of those bills. And I've taken that kind of sacrifice myself to run with the mobilization, grassroots mobilization of the program, such that by the time we'll be announcing who is the president, we are almost good to go with the implementation.
This year's elections are full of surprises as political gimmicks and tricks, or rather tactics aimed at scooping the forthcoming general elections are at play in various political camps. But the decision on who will win the election is the voters' choice based on how various political parties will sell their party manifestos. Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
Some Copper Belt residents have joined other stakeholders in calling for peace ahead of the August 12th general elections. Ndola resident has narrated that he has been greeted with threats from unknown people whenever he moves in town with political party regalia belonging to the opposition. This came to light during a peace walk from Lusaka to Kitwe being undertaken by the Southern African Interfaith Peace Mission to raise awareness on the importance of peace ahead of the August 12th general elections. Prudence Chota once again filed this report.
It is exactly 10 days from the time the Southern African Interfaith Peace Mission team embarked on a peaceful walk from Lusaka to Kitwe to raise awareness on the importance of upholding peace ahead of the August general elections. Now on the Copper Belt, the team has taken time to visit market and other places with large gatherings to preach the message of peace. And some residents of Ndola have joined the call to ensure that Zambia continues to enjoy the peace it has enjoyed for over 56 years.
Mukasango kwebati icharo chabafye bwino okuchiro kwati mairo ndeso ntoyo ati oyo tali bwino iyo uyu tali bwino uyu ni UPND uyu ni PF uyu ni nani filani shitulero fyane boze ndi Zambia inga imo nalesa tupepa aba unga nganomba jishitwala patira fwe bantu bafita beka chawama fyonse tuikatane nokumana kapipinga kubota tupotero turefwaya abana bena bapotero barefwaya bonse tulibe na Zambia ukawina ekateka wesu chapwa
kumula mutende techikube the government techikube nangu chinshi yo ichinga bapofie kufulungana ninkondo tukupusana chapo
sana so chinshi mulefwaya imo
mutende bantu mutende ulalengo muntu kikala.
Others have also explained the encounters they have had for simply wearing a party regalia.
Mundola, people who receive their seat, Ugandi, Bakufani. Lusaka, Tulaku Kitwe. Before to end the Panshi, to learn that no, kuli violence, yes, kuli peace. Whatever, what the telephone to the Umana, you know, start my elections to Irwa, to Ipa, Namland, Wamitundu, Namule Fipani. Zambia, and Adiquatensa and Bushakwe, Ukusado for Alefua, Nangukusado Muntu Alefua, so to Yarwa yo.
uyo mutonga umulenje umwina mwanga umulamba umungoni uli mwina Zambia.
Zambia will remain a Christian nation beyond August 2021. It is important, therefore, for every Zambian to remain patriotic and be a brother's keeper by denouncing violence and division, but by upholding peace at all costs. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
President Edgar Lungu has called on the church to pray for the country's peace and unity ahead of the August 12th general elections to guarantee peaceful polls. The head of state says no one was born a Patriotic Front or United Party for National Development, but all are born Zambians despite political differences, hence the need to respect each other. The president says there is no doubt that the church plays a fundamental role in ensuring that peace prevails in the country ahead of the elections. President Lungu was speaking when he laid a foundation stone for the construction of a multi-purpose BOYCOTT facility in Ballaston area, Lusaka. And the president also made a donation of 1 million kwacha and an additional 1,500 pockets of cement for the project and encouraged the corporate world and other well-wishers to come on board. And speaking earlier, BOYCOTT Overseer Archbishop Dr. Peter Ndlovu says the country has undoubtedly undergone development which has not been witnessed in over 50 years. Let's look at this.
This groundbreaking ceremony marks the beginning of a massive project which will require a lot of funds and commitment. For this reason, I'm challenging members of the BOYCOTT family and cooperating partners gathered here today to support this noble project by donating funds and building material. I know we are going into campaigns and I will require all my resources to support that cause, but allow me to make a pledge that I will contribute 1 million kwacha. This in addition to the pledge I officially made of 1,500 pockets of cement.
Honorable Minister of Religious Affairs, National Guidance, is following suit as the leader leads the others That's casual. Let's proceed. His Excellency now is proceeding to lay the stone. He will be laying the foundation stone.
You're watching Camnet News. Just now we take a break. Don't go away. At Master Signs, our services range from outdoor, indoor signage such as billboards, banners, 3D light boxes, pylons and neon signs. We are located at plot number 397A, Makeni Road, Lusaka, at Oryx Filling Station. For more details, call us on +260 967 100 090 or +260 966 999 981, or better still, email us at infomastersign@gmail.com. Master Sign, we will make it shine.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962 642 490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Making GoTV payments is easier than you think, but first you have to log in. First of all, open the GoTV app, then select your country. Fill in your surname or cell phone number and then your IUC number. That's it. You can log in. Welcome to your home page. Now click on Pay Now. Select Make a Payment. Next, you will be asked how much you wish to pay. You can do this by clicking on the space next to the kwacha sign and entering the desired amount. All the details of your payment, including account details and amount you are paying, will appear. Make sure everything is in order. Now click on the Ting button under Choose Payment option. When the Ting window pops up, click on OK and then Pay Now. Now, select Preferred Card Payment or Mobile Money option. When the Make a Payment window opens, click on the pink Pay Now button. Now, you simply authorize the payment by clicking on Send Prompt, which will send a prompt to your mobile number. Once you've received the prompt on your phone, simply enter the unique PIN and you are done. GoTV. Love it.
You're still watching Camnet News. Thank you for staying on. New Congress Party leader Peter Chanda has pledged to work on the advancement of the agriculture and manufacturing sectors as key drivers of the economy. Speaking at his party's general conference held Saturday, where he returned his presidential position, Mr. Chanda says he will ensure that jobs are created through agriculture and the manufacturing sectors. The opposition leader says he will ensure that Zambians participate in these two sectors without fail. And Mr. Chanda also highlighted other pillars which his party will work on to improve Zambia's economy. Says people should not be swayed by political tantrums from frustrated political opponents and their promises, but be realistic. Others who carried the day at the general conference are nominated national executive members Bristo Hamachila, Greenwell Simutoe, Sam Habenzu and Amos Nyirenda.
Industry is not as viable as other countries can be. Our take as Congress Party is that we should not cut the cycle of trade in the country. Today you have a company manufacturing, and that company that is manufacturing, at the same time, they are distributing to the doorpost of a trader. The wholesale industry has been killed. Today, you cannot say about the wholesale. But I want to say that in the Zambian trade framework document, it is enshrined that a manufacturing country cannot be able to spread or sell by the doorpost. A company that manufactures should create or provide room for entities like wholesales to go and order. When the wholesale orders, then they sell. The wholesalers as well, they should not have both licenses, wholesale and retail. A wholesaler should just sell in bulk. Then a trader who gets a retailing license should be.
The Democracy and Motherland Defenders Coalition has given the police service 14 days ultimatum in which to find the Hatembo siblings and reunite them with their family. Addressing the media Saturday morning, Coalition spokesperson Andrew Ntewewe has warned that failure to act upon this demand will force the coalition members to seek audience with President Edgar Lungu at State House in a March past. Mr. Ntewewe has also told the media briefing that the police command in Lusaka denied them audience with the Inspector General of Police, Kakoma Kanganja, over the alleged abduction of the Hatembo siblings. Feluna and Milton Hatembo have been at the center of the land saga involving opposition United Party for National Development leader Hakainde Hichilema's farm number 1924, a case that they lost. The two siblings have been reported missing by their brother for close to 2 months now.
Gravely concerned as a coalition that the Zambia police is not doing its utmost to ensure they secure the safety of the Hatembos.
Yeah.
We are gravely disappointed. And we call on the Inspector General of Police once again and the Commissioner of Police in Southern Province that they must do more and ensure that the Hatembos are found without any further delay. We are deeply disappointed that the Zambia Police Service have even denied us an opportunity to engage with the Inspector General of Police. As we indicated, we should have been at force headquarters.
Exactly.
But the police command has not allowed us to go to the Inspector General of Police and do an engagement.
Shame.
And yet, this is a very important matter of people's lives.
Correct.
The role of the police, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, is to protect, safeguard people's lives. We wish to indicate that the coalition demands that they be found, the Hatembos be found and reunited with their families not later than 2 weeks from today. We wish to indicate, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, that failure to release the Hatembos shall cause for the coalition to march to State House and seek audience with the head of state, who is also the commander-in-chief of the armed forces.
Yes.
Because ultimately we want to believe that if the police fail us, then we'll have no choice but to go to His Excellency the President and see how the President can help us in dealing with this matter. We make a passionate appeal to the church, to civil society, ordinary citizens to pray for the missing Hatembos. We call on the church mother bodies to dedicate a day of prayer and fasting.
The Road Development Agency has appointed the Zambia Revenue Authority, ZRA, as the Kazungula Bridge toll agent to collect toll fees at the border. In a statement issued by RDA Director Communications and Corporate Affairs, Masuzi Ndlovu, the appointment of ZRA is pursuant to the provisions of the Tolls Act No. 14 of 2011, which mandates the agency to appoint any suitable person or organization as toll collector and to perform such functions as the agency may specify. Ms. Ndlovu says ZRA's appointment is on interim basis, which is for a period of 1 year effective 10th May 2021. During this period, the authority will collect toll fees and remit to the bank until a time when the Kazungula Bridge Authority will be established and fully functional. Meanwhile, Kazungula Bridge is expected to be officially commissioned on the 10th of May in Kazungula District by President Edgar Lungu and his Botswana counterpart, MISISI. In other news, Health Minister Jonas Chanda says he is happy to note that another COVID-19 vaccine called Sinopharm made in China has been added to the list of the World Health Organization approved vaccines, a prerequisite for the perennial COVAX rollout. Dr. Chanda says Sinopharm may be included in the COVAX facility, which currently includes AstraZeneca and Johnson & Johnson's vaccine. The health minister says Zambia will consider adding the readily available Sinopharm to its basket of vaccines in line with Cabinet's approval of the Zambia's vaccination program. He says this will ensure that the country has adequate vaccines for the eligible population in Zambia. Meanwhile, Meanwhile, the health minister says that he is elated to see many ordinary people, including service providers in markets and bus stations, follow their leaders in accessing the COVID-19 vaccines. So far, 77,387 people have been vaccinated against the COVID-19 in the country. And in the last 24 hours, Zambia has recorded 53 new confirmed cases of COVID-19 with 1 death. You're watching Camnet News. We take another set of commercials. Join me shortly for international and sports news.
In this fast-paced era of industrial boom and population growth, there is need to invest in smart ways of managing electricity and water consumption and reducing utility billing costs associated with the postpaid billing system. At Savenda Electronics, we manufacture right here in Zambia different types of high-quality smart electricity and water meters to customer specifications. Savenda Electronics water and electricity meters help you monitor your usage and gives notifications such as low units, tampering, low battery, and many other features. These easy-to-use meters makes it easier to buy units even in these COVID times and top up just from the comfort of your space. Favorable contract terms are available to both electricity and water utilities. For more details, get in touch with us on the following numbers: 0956 580 349 or 0977 498 318. Savenda Electronics, the real deal.
Every day for me means hard work. Going to sell my goods at the local market. To get more customers, I have my secret. Oracle Pure Glycerin. It's soft, smooth, and keeps my skin perfect. And my customers know it. Thank you, Oracle, for my perfect skin.
It's your friends.
I insist.
Your drama.
So you think you can talk about my dad like that? You ain't chat.
And intrigue.
Are you out for good or what? What do you want? Dare you say that to me, eh?
Your heroes. It's your moment with your stories. Made at home for your home. 'Cause great stories start on DSTV.
The much-awaited for Camnet conference is now scheduled for May 2021 with your hosts, Pastors Victoria and Moses Chiluba.
We have believed that every Zambian was born for greatness and that you and I can contribute to the development of this nation.
The big questions to ask are, can Zambia develop through agriculture? Can we produce indigenous Zambian millionaires? Plan not to miss this national conference on empowering Zambians through agriculture knowledge. Dates, 28th to 29th May 2021. Time, 0730 hours to 1630 hours. Venue, the Healing Word Ministries International in Ibex Hill. Charges, 950 kwacha, lunch inclusive for both days. Payments through via mobile money on 0962 965 883 or 0979 753 010, or you can pay via Stanbic Bank account number 913000 1825 325. Speakers will be Professor Reda.
We need Zambia to be one of the best nations in Africa.
Professor Munkumba.
If you just listen to a lecture, you may remember hardly anything. In 2 weeks' time, it's all gone. If you read, you may remember 10% of what you've read. If you participate in a discussion, 50% retention of the knowledge. So I always tell people, knowledge is the only thing that when you share it, you don't lose it.
Professor Msongole.
Agriculture can actually solve our unemployment for our youth. Through exports, agricultural exports, we can also stabilize our foreign exchange.
Honorable Bobs Chinga.
When you do a budget, you plan it so that all the sectors, especially those that will give you low-lying fruits, in other words, you can achieve a lot with it, are the first things you do first.
And biologist Kamweneshe.
If we came together
and put hands together and concentrate on the soil. The people in Kenya, these Swahili people said, Dongo ni mali, means soil, that's money.
Register your participation through Camnet lines. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying on. We now look at international news. The United Nations is warning aid convoys to the Tigray region in Ethiopia are being blocked, leaving thousands without humanitarian relief and hundreds malnourished. Now, after 6 months of conflict, one of the country's top religious leaders has spoken out against what he describes as genocide in Tigray. Al Jazeera also reports that Antonio Guterres has made his case for a second term as UN Secretary General, but pressure is mounting to open the selection process to more candidates, specifically women. Here's a roundup.
The Ethiopian government has been fighting the Tigray People's Liberation Front since November. The conflict in the northern Tigray region has killed thousands of people and displaced more than 1 million. And now, rare public criticism from inside the capital against Ethiopia's Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed.
I am not sure what the Tigray people did wrong, what their crimes are. I am not clear why they want to declare genocide on the people of Tigray. I do not know why they want to wipe the people of Tigray from the surface of the earth. The whole world should know this.
The video of Abune Matthias, a Tigray native and patriarch of Ethiopia's Orthodox Church, was filmed last month and smuggled out of Addis Ababa. He accuses the government of creating carnage, wanting to destroy the northern Tigray region, and censoring his earlier attempts to speak out.
And my other message to the people of Tigray who live in the country and out of the country is this: may God give you strength. May He give you His strength and power. Everything passes, and this might pass away. This might pass away. Don't be demoralized. Don't be fearful or anxious.
The government has condemned atrocities in the conflict, but has denied claims of ethnic cleansing and the targeting of civilians. Members of parliament choose the country's senior leaders, and as 40% of its estimated 110 million people are Orthodox Christian, Matthias's message is likely to resonate with voters ahead of parliamentary elections in June. Prime Minister Ahmed's efforts to achieve peace in the region earned him the Nobel Prize in 2019. But he's faced multiple crises since. The humanitarian fallout of the Tigray conflict is likely to overshadow upcoming elections, which could erode his hold on power. And on Wednesday, the government-appointed head of Tigray's interim government resigned, giving no reasons as to why.
On the international political stage, it's the equivalent of hitting the campaign trail.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Antonio Guterres, answering questions from member states and civil society groups submitted ahead of time on video. He's making his case for a second term as UN Secretary General. What's happening in the General Assembly Hall is what the United Nations refers to as an informal interactive dialogue. The idea was to make the Secretary General selection process more open, but given Antonio Guterres is the only candidate for the job, the outcome seems to be a foregone conclusion. A handful of applicants are challenging that assumption, however. 7 have declared their own candidacy to reach the UN's top floor in 2022.
Why do you think you are qualified for this job?
There are some reasons.
Among them, Rosalía Arteaga, the first woman vice president and, for a brief period, president of Ecuador.
I'm still fighting because I strongly believe that the words and the feelings of the civil society has to be listened in the United Nations.
But her backers say she lacks a process to be heard. Forward is a London-based advocacy group claiming thousands of supporters who demand change.
We have no opportunity to debate, present our statement, and be part of the process.
What we wanted to do was send shockwaves to the UN. The process and the lack of democracy hasn't evolved since its creation, which is a huge problem in itself. And an additional problem is the fact that we've had 76 years of male secretary generals.
The Security Council has an outsized role in the process. Its permanent members must agree on a candidate before referring him or her to the General Assembly for approval.
If the two presidents of the General Assembly and the Security Council doesn't write a joint letter, even if a country presents somebody as a candidate, not necessarily becomes a candidate. So, important thing is the joint letter.
The General Assembly president concedes the process is not spelled out in the UN Charter. Guterres has pointed out that more than half of his executive team are women. For now, it appears that's as close as any will get to leading this organization.
Well, that's it for international news. We now take our focus to sports news. In sports news, Atletico Madrid remain 2 points clear at the top of La Liga, but their draw at Barcelona means rivals Real Madrid now hold the advantage in the title race. Real will move level on points with Atletico if they beat fourth-place Sevilla on Sunday, but would go top because of their head-to-head record. The top four can all still win La Liga in a remarkably tight title race. Barcelona struggled to break their visitors down and sit 2 points behind Atletico with 3 games remaining. Lionel Messi looked mostly likely to make something happen for the hosts and forced Jan Oblak into the diving serve after a gliding run across the top of the box. But the visitors created the better chances in the first half, and Luis Suarez saw his strike well served by Marc-Andre ter Stegen at the near post. Well, that sporting item brings our news to the end, but before we go, the headlines once again. MISISI compound flood victims agreeable to sell their houses amidst perennial floods. Women in Southern Province vow to boycott voting if the 2 major political parties do not adopt women. And Green Party sees no wind of change as it endorses President LUNGU. In international news, Ethiopia's Orthodox Church Patriarch condemns Tigray genocide. And in sports news, Barcelona and Atletico in stalemate in key La Liga game. We now look at the Camnet verse for the day, and it's coming from Proverbs 13, verse 20, and it reads, "Walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm." Well, that's all we could accommodate for you on the news desk tonight. Thank you so much for choosing us. My name is Sharon Kalimbola. Remember to observe the COVID-19 health guidelines or take the vaccination if you can. Good night. Thanks for watching.